Hi, today we're going to put together the round candy box, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. So first, this is all the pieces to the box, so that those top pieces are for the lid, so we're going to slide that away. And we're going to work on the bottom part of the box. So you see there's two panels on the bottom, and then we want to go ahead and curl this. And you could do this on the end of the table too. And you'll see that there's a cut mark, and in yours will be two slight cut marks. You don't want to fold on them. Those are just there for your reference, so you can line up this edge so it stays round. But we'll want to put glue on the tab to the right of that. Even it's still a tab, even though there's just a little cut mark that you don't fold. So you can see that it's a little bit size different. And we're going to line that up, that edge up to that cut, and you'll see, like I said, two small cuts rather than one big one in the middle, just to make it easier for you to line up. And then once we get it lined up, we can go ahead and apply pressure, and just be careful of glue leakage and stuff like that, because it will be seen as we don't have panels on this bottom piece. Then we'll go ahead and fold these tabs in so we can get ready to put the bottom piece on. So the one thing we're going to do is we have two pieces, one to glue on the inside and one to glue on the outside for the bottom. So for the inside, we're just going to glue it in there, and then that glues on the outside. So the bottom part, for the bottom part, we'll want the texture facing downward. But when you're gluing the inside piece, it's easier to glue the non-textured side down if you're using a textured paper at all. So I use American Crafts textured paper. It's my preferred paper. It's nice and sturdy but pliable at the same time. So you could add glue to the tabs, but I decided to do it around this way. The only caveat I have with that is that you have a craft mat. You'll want to make sure that you wipe it off afterwards, because glue may get on it. So we're just going in and making sure that those edges line up with the inside tab folds. And you probably would want to make sure too that there's no tabs buckling on the bottom, because they can kind of stick out sometimes on the edge if you don't get it lined up just quite right. And then you can go ahead and reach in and finish gluing those tabs and applying pressure. It's a rather simple box to put together, other than the fact that it's round, because I think round pieces are hard to put together generally. Then we're just going to put that bottom panel on to hide all these tabs. So you want to kind of get close to the edge with the glue. But no, because you know what, you need it to not to have a huge gap on the edges. So a couple places there I didn't add quite enough glue, but you can always spread it out with your finger or with a tool like a little brush. So I always have a wet paper towel ready to get my excess as well if it bleeds through. So once you get it set in place, it's just easier to flip it down and apply pressure from the inside. And that finishes the bottom pieces. Then we'll go ahead to the lid. So these are the pieces for the lid. So this is the top panel that goes on. I'll show you how it layers. So I took away I actually had to redo this video because you'll see it's a different paper. Because of a technical issue. But we have these panels. That's the clear panel. And the way it's going to go is, let's get these lined up here. That goes on there, and then this acetate, or I use a transparency sheet, goes there for the clear part. And then that other little donut shape is for the top, so we can glue on the top edge. So it's similar to the bottom, but we needed an opening, so it's shaped a little bit different. So the same thing here, there'll be cut lines for you to reference, so you can line up the other edge. So you'll line it up. But let's go ahead and curl it. So another method of curling is to curl it against the edge of a table. So that's what I'm doing right now to get a nice curve. Because the more curve you get in anything circular, prior to gluing it together, it won't have that pressure, or it'll have less resistance when you're gluing it together. I was trying to think of the word resistance. Then when I got it curled enough, or went ahead and let's fold down all those tabs. You see it kind of naturally gets the shape. It helps shape it. So what we'll go ahead and do is, once we get the tabs all the way down, that'll glue to the inside, just like the bottom piece. And this will go underneath. And the reason we're doing that is it'll be easier for you to reach in and apply pressure with the tabs, which is nice. And also it gives you that opening that we need on the top. So let's go ahead and put it together, and just make sure you put glue below that the cut lines. And again, don't score it. Now we'll go ahead and add the panel. So there's pros and cons to doing it two ways, putting it on after or before. So afterwards, it's hard to line up and to wrap around and apply pressure. So as you can see, I lined it up here just with this one little thumb section here, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a finger opening, and got it lined up there, and then I can glue it around. So I'm just going to glue a little bit at a time, going from that area. So I set it there first, and then I glued the other side, and then now I'm going to continue going around. The hard part when you put it on after it's together is that it's hard to line it up and to get it exactly where it needs to be, because you're on a round surface. It's not easy. The difficulty of doing it before is a different issue. So I tried it 2 times before putting it on before I made the box, and there's a possibility because of the glue that it will buckle the box. So I'll show you an example once I'm done with this, but you just continue around. And the reason we're doing a little time because we don't want any gap or any buckling on the outside. But So it's your choice. It's going to be easier to center and line up that side panel if it's on before you put the box together, but it's going to make it harder to put the box together, and you may have potential buckling when you go to curl it around a little bit. And when you get to the end here, it should overlap, and you can see I'm just a little bit off. So I was trying to line it up, but I was just a little bit off, which is not that noticeable. And now it's together. You see that it'll slide right onto the bottom box. And then I'll show you what it looks like when I put the panel on first. So I'm going to rotate this so you can kind of see there's a little buckling inside. Kind of buckled. So the cardstock buckled, but the outside was okay. So it wasn't that noticeable, but it's up to you whether you want to try that method or not. And it didn't make a difference in how the box fit. It just, I don't like to have little flaws like that. So again, I did this video a different way with that, but it didn't record, so I ended up doing it this way. So I might as well tell you what happens. The bloopers, there are no bloopers because it didn't record. So now we're going to go ahead and put together the panels that go on the top. So that's the way it's going to layer. And then it'll go on top like that. So we'll go ahead and flip it over. Make sure the texture is facing downwards when you do this, if you have textured paper. Then we'll glue the acetate, but I use transparency sheets to that piece. And when I'm applying the glue, I just make sure I don't get too close to the middle, because we don't want it leaking to the place where you can see it. So you want to be really careful when you place it, not to shift it and shift the glue to the inside. And if you put a little bit too much glue on this side so it leaks under the edge outside of the acetate, or like I said, I'm using old transparency sheets, that's okay, because you'll be gluing that onto the top. So now we'll just go ahead and add this little panel, and it's scalloped around the edge as well as that top panel is. So you'll just want to line up the scallops, and you see I'm putting glue in the middle, so if I have to adjust it just a little bit, I got a little bit on my finger, wipe that off, but so I can have a little adjustment wiggle room. So I'm just making sure I get it where I want it. And once I have it lined up, we'll just go ahead and apply some pressure. Then we'll go ahead and glue it onto the top like we did the bottom. We're trying to get a little bit closer this time with the glue on the edge, because that helps to make sure that the edge doesn't flip up and have little gaps in it. But you could always add a little glue with the fine tip applicator. And I am using art glitter glue. There's a little link below, or information below, of what I used. And so we want to get it lined up first, so I'm just making sure it's lined up around the edges there. And then once it is, we go ahead and reach in and apply pressure around all the edges. So doing round boxes, not always, they pose a little challenge. That's whether it be don't see a whole lot of if you don't see a lot of rounded 3D items, because they are a challenge. It brings the difficulty up just a little bit. It's not that it's not doable, it's just that you have to pay attention to certain things. And so this is the simplest of a round thing you probably could do, but still there's issues that you have to take care of if they occur. So this finishes off the lid. So once we get the pressure all the way around, we can go ahead and put it back on. Just a basic box. If you did like this video, and this project, please give me a like below and or subscribe. I would appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching.